'cause I'm the weatherman. Oh, my thunderstrike, ride out the storm, I'm the weatherman.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. It's your Fast Forecast here with our Meet the Org series, and tonight we have Aetherion, and we are at the Voyager bar, and fortunately we have yet to get to the drinks, despite the first stuttering, and it's the higher atmosphere. We're not used to being on planet side. We've been in the black here lately, but here we have John Riker of Aetherion, and if you would, tell us about your org, yourself, and these strapping young men beside you, and fill us in on your org.
Absolutely, absolutely. So we are Aetherion Defense Solutions, or ADS for short. The gentleman to my left and my right, these are two of our operatives, Operative Hunter Kane and Operative Valix. Today they're just making sure that everybody behaves themselves while we're here. Aetherion was founded in 2934 in the Magnus system. Our founder was a former UEE naval officer named Commander Elias Varen. There's quite a lot to get into there, so I'll just kind of keep firing through. Currently, I am the successor, I suppose you could say, while Commander Varen is still lost in the verse. I suppose our biggest thing would be our philosophy is, well, from the handbook, I suppose, it's order without oppression, precision without cruelty, and strength without chaos.
Interesting. So, y'all are all the way here from Magnus. That's quite a journey.
Indeed. Well, Aetherion recruits from all corners of the verse. Primarily, we try to hire only former UEE military personnel. However, our founder was from the Magnus.
Okay. Well, usually recruiting comes up later in the conversation, but we're here now, so we'll go ahead and ask. What do you look for in recruits? Just naval recruits, Marines, so on and so forth, or do y'all look for civilians as well?
So, to become a proper operative contractor, however you would prefer to call it, in Aetherion, one does need to have a military background with the Empire. We do utilize quite a bit of civilian contracting for other work, however, such as mining, salvage, things of that nature.
Okay. Is it just because of the hardware, such as your weapons, we see grenades and armor, or is it because of the ships you fly? Is it so that you don't have to spend the time to bring the new recruit up to speed on the equipment you use, or is there another reason?
I suppose the third option would be a good portion of it. Bringing in individuals that already possess a high skill level, both in combat operations or logistical operations, especially in the capacity of military, and having that familiarity with working as a team to accomplish a very specific goal, tends to lend itself quite well to what we do. We are or rather, I should say, we are trying to maintain our reputation of being professional, efficient, and just overall well put together, I suppose, in layman's terms would be the best way to say it. And having individuals that are former military tends to lend itself rather well. As I said before, not only to working in the system, but also, as you said, kind of coming in with that former experience, so it makes it a little bit easier to fold everybody in.
Being a former Marine ourselves, we can respect that. So, you're all the way here from Magnus. Are you instant recruiting, or is this one of your outpost bases? Are you in Pyro? What does your reach look like currently?
So currently we are doing a lot of contracting with the United Empire of Earth. Primarily, most of our contracts on the Empire's behalf have been in Pyro to help assist in stopping piracy from infiltrating the Stanton system. Currently, we are recruiting here in Stanton, as well as enjoying this beautiful scenery, as you can see. As well as, and I'm not sure, maybe you've interviewed them before, but one of the Crusader security divisions, led by Commander Rosalina Klein. We've made very good friends with the individuals and operatives within that division, so we also like to stop indoors so often to pay them a friendly visit. You know, just kind of give a nice little, I suppose, professional tip of the hat.
Absolutely interesting. So you mentioned you go into pyro and you engage piracy there. Uh, so would you say that you're currently engaged in dealing with the headhunter and all that business is currently going on at the moment?
For the sake of our operational status, I can't divulge too much information in that regard. However, we do have quite a hand in some of the situations that are currently ongoing in the piracy.
You can't blame a newsman for trying to get a story.
Not at all. Not at all.
uh, so, just again to keep from prying too much into operational information, uh, and we also understand most PMC's fleets depend on what y'all are contracted for. What does y'all's fleet typically look like? Do y'all have capital ships, fighters? Do y'all roll heavy, medium fighters? What are y'all capable of fielding?
Currently, we have quite a bit at our disposal. We've been very blessed, not only by our donors and supporters, but also by some of the former naval officers that have bridged over with their savings and managed to get some decommissioned ships and are currently retrofitting them. Currently, we have two Polaris Corvette capital-sized ships in our fleet. Um, Within a month or so, our Perseus ships should be leaving dry dock and making their maiden voyage, as well as there's certain whispers that we might be able to get our hands on an Idris frigate carrier here pretty soon. In regards to fighters, currently we're fielding quite a few of the same fighters that the Navy has fielded before. The Hornet Mark IIs, Hurricanes, Scorpius, Gladiuses. Um, Additionally, we are also working on a bomber wing. That'll be primarily Spirit class ships, as well as the A1. Forgive me, the A1 Spirit class ship, as well as I believe it's the Eclipse from
That's some serious firepower. That's very impressive. We ask because, so as you know, this goes out, and it's not just our normal readers that read and watch this. It's also prospective clients who might be interested in hiring a PMC. So, you know, hearing this might strike their fancy, and they'll be like, "Hey, we need this kind of firepower. We need these kind of ships. We need this kind of expertise." So it also, points people in your direction.
Absolutely, absolutely. Our biggest thing at Aetherion is, and this kind of ties into our ethics, I suppose. Um, Oftentimes, what I found when traveling through these different systems, whether it has been Pyro or Stanton, um, a lot of folks tend to shy when you say that you're a private military corporation. Tend to think, you know, pirates with a little bit more class, right? Just some bootstrap mercenaries that are just in it for the money. That's not really what we're about. And I suppose our biggest, I wouldn't say defining quality per se, but I suppose the thing that we really want to really harp on to any prospective clients or potential enlistees is that we're not mercenaries in the gutter. We choose our contracts. Uh, we've walked away from very high stake deals when they reeked of you know corruption or potential I wouldn't say malfeasance, but it didn't feel correct. Um, Discipline means knowing when not to pull the trigger, and that is something going back all the way to our founder, Commander Varen, that we've tried to stay as true as we can.
That was something we were going to touch on, your ethics, if you were just guns for hire, especially with your choice of hiring military veterans uh, who are trained on rules of war and knowing when to shoot and when not to shoot. That is very heartening.
Indeed. Ultimately, our purpose, to give, I suppose, a bit of another quote from the manual, uh, we exist to do what others hesitate to bring order where law has abandoned the stars, and to protect those who still believe that there is a way forward, even in places that the Empire's light doesn't reach or doesn't want to.
Those are very noble words. Huh. So with your recruits and these fine gentlemen here, uh, say you get done with a successful mission, of course it pays well. What does the pay structure look like? Do your veterans here make more than, say, your new recruits? Do the captains of the ships make more than, say, the gunners? How does that look for people who might want to sign up?
Absolutely, absolutely. I'm actually glad you asked that. That was something that that I was looking forward to answering. Absolutely. So we run off something we call the Blade Doctrine. Um, so we have three tiers of operatives. Um, we have tier three, tier two, tier one. Um, we have monikers for them as well. So tier three is Lance. That's our expeditionary reach. That's our kind of introductory catch-all division. Anyone who signs up will be placed in tier three with the opportunity to escalate themselves and their career into tier two, which is sword, and then tier one, which is dagger. Each does come with a different page. We also offer plenty of bonuses, both for signing up, for conduct, exemplary performance, things of that nature. In regards to ship captains versus, let's say, naval aviators, ground operatives, it does tend to vary. It really depends on, one, the individual's expertise, two, the time and grade that they have, and then also I suppose, how often they're putting that best foot forward and how frequently they are for the contracts that we undertake here at Aetherion.
Well, main one of the reasons we ask is because you're going to be fielding some very expensive ships. For instance, the Polaris with those size 10 torpedoes, the Idris with the same, the Perseus is not cheap to fly as well, and the captains of those ships are going to be looking at the ground teams going, my expenses dwarf yours by magnitudes.
Absolutely, absolutely. The best part of this is that we don't require our operatives to pay for anything. Everything is covered by the company itself. So any captains that we have that are undertaking missions, as you said, Polaris, Perseus, Idris, what have you, those expenses and such for the torpedoes, the general maintenance, the fuel, all of that is covered by
That's very generous, especially considering we have flown a Polaris ourselves. Those are quite expensive.
Indeed, indeed.
Well, so every org will come across supporters and detractors. Uh, if you could speak directly to your supporters, what would you say to them?
An excellent question. If I had to say anything to our supporters, the first I would say is thank you for having faith in what we're standing for. Our company's motto is by any means. And it's, to us, it's not just a slogan, it is a reminder. The universe doesn't reward, I suppose you could say, hesitation. When our people or clients are at risk, we act immediately, decisively, and efficiently, and by any means necessary. Our founder believed very much in protecting the citizens of the empire that could not be protected, whether by the empire itself, whether by the local security forces, or what have you. And oftentimes he found that the protection that was provided by the empire was more often than not insufficient. Um, that being the primary driving factor for his, I suppose you could call it, creation of Aetherion. It's something that we try to not only embody, but to push forward in every possible aspect. So once again, to any supporters we have, we greatly, greatly appreciate it. I want them to know that we are always going to do our best to make sure that not only their health and well-being, but also their interests are put at the first and foremost part of any work that we do.
Excellent. Well, the flip side of that comes with every supporter. If you could speak directly to your detractors, what would you say to them?
Well, I suppose everybody is entitled to an opinion. Ultimately, in a humorous way, there wouldn't be any correct opinions if there weren't wrong opinions. I need to thank them as well for having the wrong opinion. But ultimately, on a more serious note, what I have found is that human beings, aside from being very complex creatures, are rather simple in heart. For example, What we don't understand, we feel, and what we are, or rather, I should say, what we are ignorant of, and fear, anger, which begets hatred, which inevitably begets. The ultimate goal for us is to maintain a position that individuals can come and learn about our corporation, sign up if they so choose, and well, hopefully change their minds and have the right opinion.
So essentially, if John, where'd you go? So, gentlemen, your boss just vanished. Guys, does he do that often?
Apologies, it appears as though I've entered the ethereal plane.
So, know any card games? Strong silent types, huh? Researched with some guys like y'all. So, beautiful day. Yep. Yeah, beautiful day. Yep, yep, pretty out here. Yep. Didn't know they had teleporters yet. Sneaky guy, that, John. You know. They turned out really, really well. So when we were in, like, as soon as the CO was out, we were drinking. Like, most of us carried at least a can in our, vest. Yeah, good old days. Y'all are a different kind of Marines than we were. Y'all are still at attention. I mean, that's discipline. It's impressive. Pay's got to be great over there. Pay's not great over here being a newsman. Like, we got to pay for our own health care. Got to pay for parking. Fuel sucks. Hours suck. It's like being in the military all over again, except,
You should have seen his face. Looked like he'd swallowed a bug.
What?
He was gonna cry.
What?
It was hilarious.
What? No. I'm interviewing someone, y'all. Over there. You. Shut up. Alright, back to what I was doing. Talking about eating bugs, civilians. Anyway. So anyway, yeah. So as we were saying, have to pay for our own parking. Healthcare sucks. It's kind of like being in the military all over again. Except, we get to go see things. We don't get shot at as often. Well, no, that's a lie. We get shot at more often. Not everyone wants to be interviewed. It's really weird. Oh, and our uniforms don't usually match. Now, as you can see, like this, unlike y'all's stuff, because once again, we have to pay for our own uniforms. Yeah. Like, even our rifle. A rifle isn't even regulation anymore. They pulled it off a guy. What? That's judgment. We know that look. Yeah, that's... Can't judge us. We don't have a PMC behind us. We have, like, a terrapin and a weather station. You want to talk hardcore? Go after pirates with a video camera. Yeah. He's going to come back and be like, business stuff. We're going to pretend none of this happened. Oh, look at there.
Apologies.
Ah, teleporters, right?
Indeed, indeed.
Alright, so we were close to the end anyway. I was entertaining your fine gentlemen about why they should stay there instead of doing their own thing, because healthcare prices suck, and so does paying your own parking. Alright.
I see. I see. Was it a fruitful discussion?
They are the strong silent types, and they really don't move around much. We had to like poke one of them to make sure he was still alive. We're not sure about the other one. They're really disciplined. It's kind of scary.
Yes, they both are very excellent at what they do. We do have, I will say, of course, we do have more relaxed individuals, I suppose you could say, that are, a little bit more animated, I suppose. But these two men right here, we really wanted to make a good impression for you. And for these are
So-
two of my top men.
So they're not like statues, is what you're saying.
No, sir. No, these are living, breathing, bona fide, certified human beings.
Huh. All right. Well, that's even more terrifying. All right. Well then, everyone, if you goes back to those detractors. Before you start detracting, keep in mind what you saw for the last 5 minutes. The whole standing there looking at you without saying things. Do you really want these gentlemen showing up at your door, just staring at you, not saying anything? Don't be mean. All right. We know time is money, and we really appreciate you taking time out of your day to come out here and humor us with an interview. Is there anything you'd like to close up with? Reintroduce your org, tell us where we can find you on Spectrum and all that good stuff, and how to get a hold of you, if you would.
Absolutely, absolutely. If anyone needs to find us, they shouldn't need to look too far. We are on a variety of different platforms. Spectrum, all that we need to do is search our name, Aetherion, and they should find us, as well as in the, I forget what it's called per se, but the catalog for different organizations that are currently looking for new employees, new hires, things like that. Subsequently, if they are involved in not quite sure how you'd say it, but certain communities that have a certain focus on a certain style of living, I suppose. It sounds very ambiguous, I reckon, but I suppose that's about as close as I could get in being able to describe it. But they would be able to find us there. In regards to a closing statement, stars don't owe anyone any mercy, and Aetherion exists to make sure that it doesn't matter either way.
Can't top that. All right, ladies and gentlemen, this has been your Fast Forecast with Meet the Org with Aetherion and John Riker. John, thank you for being with us on this beautiful view. Thank you for the drinks. And we look forward to follow-ups and maybe tagging along and recording some of your antics whenever you get a chance. once again, ladies and gentlemen, fair winds and following seas.